Hello, I'm Tanya, and today we are going to be talking about your sovereign energy and why your sovereign energy is not available to you right now. This is because there are three things that I see over and over and over and over again with coaches and service providers that blocks them from getting to their sovereign energy. And those three things are that they have no time for self-care, that they are the bottleneck in their business, and they are not having fun. Yeah, you need to have fun. You need to look after yourself and you need to share the load. So let's look at this in three sections. We'll start with being the bottleneck. In order to fix this, you need to do three things. The first is to release the handbrake. And that is probably going to be different for not every one of you, because there are probably 5, 6 things that keep your handbrake stuck on. They can be imposter syndrome. They can be doubting yourself and your business model, doubting your price. Yeah. All of these things will keep your handbrake stuck on. So the first thing we need to do is release your handbrake. Then we need to dive into your to-do list, not just what's on your to-do list, but what's on your to-do list that shouldn't even be there. Yeah. You may think, oh, I can handle my to-do list myself, but I've developed a way of turning your to-do list into something that gives you not only a list of tasks, but an organized direction in your business. So that's what we will tackle next. Then there are the 3 Ps. The 3 Ps are people pleasing, perfectionism, and procrastination. And once you have mastered the 3 Ps, yeah, well, not so much mastered them, but cleared them out of your daily work, then you can step into calm. Yeah. So once you've got rid of your self-sabotage, for instance, once you've organized your workload and quit procrastinating, those things will bring you calm. And when you've got that calm direction in your business, you will no longer be the bottleneck. Let's look next at no time for self-care. When you are in a position where you have no time for self-care, there's also three things that you're going to need to look at to fix this. First of all, we need to look at your values and your choices. Your values are things that you've inherited essentially from your parents, from your teachers, from your caregivers, and you have choice as to which one of those values is still in alignment with what you need to do in your life. Yeah, what impact you're aiming for. We also look at practical boundaries. And these are not rules trying to influence how other people behave, but boundaries that actually define your behavior. When your boundaries define your behavior, you are in control of them. They are not things that you're chasing around all the time. And just this simple thing will set you up for increased capacity. But there's one more thing you need, and that is my special version of manifestation. And this version is quite simple. Yeah. Simple to talk about, not so simple to do. So you make a plan, you follow the plan, and then you get the life that you've planned for. Yeah. So this can sound really straightforward, you make your plan items and then you tick them off. But if you're not aiming for something, you will not get it. Yeah. One of my dear friends said the other day in a workshop, a goal without a plan is just a pipe dream. So once you've sorted out your values and made choices about what you're going to do in your business, what you're not going to do, and not just in your business, but in your life, in your coaching of yourself, shall we say. And then once we've looked at your boundaries and got a plan that is going to work for you, all of those things together will give you capacity. not just capacity to expand your business, to scale your business, but to expand and scale what you do in your life, which means you will have time for self-care. And finally, within this sovereign system, we look at how to get you clarity. Now, the thing with clarity is clarity only comes when you are enjoying what you are doing. So we need to first look at overcoming your blocks. And these are your creative blocks, not the things that, get in your way of performing day-to-day tasks, but your creative blocks. And we can then build, like this little diagram here, we can build on your building blocks until we get to where you want to be. Yeah. So once we overcome your blocks, we can then dig in and meet your mind. This means understanding how your mind works, what your nervous system is designed to do. Yeah. Because a lot of people separate their mind from their nervous system, but really your mind is the thing that sits on top of your nervous system. So in this section, we meet your mind and your nervous system. We learn about regulation. We learn about how, for instance, excitement, yeah, and fear feel the same to your nervous system. So we can meet you where you are and get clarity on what you are actually feeling. And finally comes the this section here, gratitude and joy. Now, we all know that gratitude is something we should have. We all know that joy is something we should have in our lives. But without a practical tool to get gratitude and joy into our lives, we tend to forget it after a couple of weeks. Yeah, we'll start off for the first week, declaring something that we're grateful for every morning. Yeah, but the habit doesn't form until we go from gratitude to joy and from joy to gratitude. So once we have overcome all your blocks, met your mind and regulated your nervous system, and then installed gratitude and joy into your life, we will then build some clarity. And it's that clarity that gives you fun in your business. And looking at this sort of a big picture version, yeah, once you've got clarity, calm, and capacity, you will overcome being a bottleneck, having no time for self-care, and no fun in your business. All of those things will work. Yeah, they will work together to bring you sovereign energy. And that's how the sovereign system works. So if this looks interesting to you and you want to find out what implementing it together would look like, comment energy below and I'll send you all the details. You can also message me.